Okay, today we are going to go on a little road trip out to Charlestown, New Hampshire. So we are going to visit the fort at number 4. Let's get started. I've got a little bit of a reading here from a little bit of a self-guided tour informational pamphlet, and we can see we've got the fortification right here. So here we go. In 1735, the General Court of the Massachusetts Bay Colony established 32 settlements. Among these were plantations 1, 2, 3, and 4, all on the east side of the Connecticut River on what were the traditional lands of the Sokoke Abenaki. These towns were later rechartered under the New Hampshire colony as Chesterfield, Westmoreland, Walpole, and Charlestown. British colonists who purchased shares of each town under these charters were called proprietors. Many of the original proprietors for number 4 quickly resold their land because of the uncertainty over whether Massachusetts or New Hampshire actually had the right to the land itself. So it's pretty interesting. It got settled, and it had its good times and it had its rough times. This was located in the northwestern part of the Massachusetts Bay Colony territory, if you could call it that, of that colony. So New Hampshire hadn't been incorporated yet. So, but later on, and we will continue this little piece, during the Revolutionary War, Charlestown became the assembly point for troops. General John Stark marched to the Battle of Bennington from Charlestown in 1777. After the Revolution, Charlestown became the major trade center for the area. The original fort stood in the center of Charlestown. A boulder is placed near its location on Main Street. So what that means is what you see here is not it is a recreation of the fortification and the buildings. However, it's not in the original spot. The original spot was near downtown. This is outside of downtown, and this reconstruction is actually about twice the size of the original. So we could actually keep things a little, keep its authentic reconstruction using methods of construction of the period, and we can see many of the items in here. So it's pretty interesting, and it was a lot of fun, and we can see a number of different things that were in here. And if we look in the actual pamphlet, it actually discusses what's actually in here. There's a corn barn, a blacksmith shop, a cotton barn. The south side has the south gate. There's a great hall, or chamber if you want to call it that. On the west side of it, there's the Hastings house. There's the Parker Sartwell lean-to. They call it a lean-to. There's the Willard house. And there is also, the Spafford lean-to, the Sartwell house. On the north side, there's the Farnsworth lean-to, the Johnson lean-to. There's the Parker house. And on the east side, there's the Killam Hastings lean-to, the David Farnsworth house, Parker Putnam lean-to, and the Stevens house. On the common in the center, there is a beehive oven. It's an earthen oven, so you would actually bake in one of these. You would set your coals on fire inside, let those burn down, push them off to the back, and you'd be able to make sure everything's nice and clean in there with, let's say, like a wet rag on a stick, and you'd be able to bake in there. So, and of course there's a restroom in a little house, or necessary, that's out there as well. And this is all in that period, and it is period accurate. And it's a lot of fun and it's very educational. They're doing many different things throughout the year during the open season, which is spring to fall. And, there's a lot of good information that can be done, that can be found in here. You can see the Great Hall. And, of course, you can see some modern items of things of that sort. But the fortification itself has these poles on the outside, as you saw at the beginning, and there were gaps in between. The reason why is because whenever there was raiding going on, well, the people of the township would actually go inside of that, into the fortification part of it, and close themselves off from the outside. However, you can see that there are little portholes of sorts. Little holes that are in the walls throughout the outside of the fortification. What you could do is you could open up these little holes, stick your musket out there, and you could shoot between all of those posts on the outer boundary. So those posts were there to keep people out, and to defend the place, you could actually stick your musket out and you could effectively shoot them, or at least try to, if you didn't happen to hit the posts. And we have many different things in here. There's a lot of different farming equipment, size, hay forks. There's a craft shop of sorts. Here we have textiles and many different things of that sort. There's also a lounge. You can see the white paint on the walls. That's because a lady would come in every spring and she would whitewash using whatever they happen to have for doing that kind of work during that period. And we have fireplaces, the way that you kind of there's not much you can do with a fireplace, but these are fantastic. So this was a very fun trip, and I really enjoyed it. I went there as a kid, and this is the first time I've been back since, and of course it looks the same, and but there's been some additional tree growth where you can't see the river anymore, but that's not so much of a big deal. So there's that earthen oven right there. So thank you for coming along for this little trip out to Charlestown. This is a fantastic little place, and it's fantastic to look at, and you learn a lot, and you can see many different things, such as this. That canoe out there on the back wall, that's original. That was taken out of Lake Sunapee by local boys that went out there and actually did that, and it's a dugout canoe. So we are going to be finishing up here, and here's the close-up of that canoe. It's a dugout canoe. They would chop, burn, and they also covered it with mud to make sure that it didn't get caught on fire or whatnot. So that is our visit to the fort at Plantation number 4. And Plantation, it is not as we would think of it back in those days. It was for settling. It was a settlement plantation. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next little quest in New Hampshire. Skál.